Southern New England's trusted news source, ABC6 News at Noon.
Hey, good afternoon to you folks. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Casey Cance. Doreen is off. Happening now, Providence Police just wrapping up a press conference moments ago, sharing new details on the deadly shooting of a 15-year-old boy in the city this weekend. Police telling us this appears to be a targeted shooting, and there are at least 2 suspects. On Sunday, dozens of the victim's friends and family gathered at the scene where 15-year-old Javante Tilson was killed. That was on Wallace Street. Mayor Jorge Alorza speaking with the family there.
I was at the scene this past weekend, and in fact, one of the first things that they mentioned to me was, can you put cameras up so we can catch these folks? But I think the most important thing that I've learned as a lesson, advice that was passed down to me, is just always be present. Know what your children are up to as much as possible. And if you don't know what to do, seek help.
Providence Police Major David LePayton saying that police have not connected this shooting to gang violence. He said that hasn't come up in the investigation yet. Elsewhere today, as the global monkeypox outbreak continues to spread, the fight to contain the now global health emergency urges on. A New Bedford healthcare facility has officially started its vaccine distribution this morning as part of the state's fight to control the outbreak. ABC6 News reporter Yanni Trigelis reports on the monkeypox vaccine's availability in Massachusetts.
Monkeypox vaccines expanding across Massachusetts over the last week, now available at 11 healthcare providers in the state, including the Seven Hills Behavioral Health Center in New Bedford, who received 100 doses of the Jynneos vaccine last week. Officials at Seven Hills tell ABC6 appointments for high-risk individuals started to fill up right after they opened a week ago. This growing vaccine availability comes as the spread of monkeypox continues to grow, with cases in Massachusetts up to 79 since May 18th, and worldwide cases surpassing 16,000, with the nationwide mark now nearing 3,000.
Right now we have over 2,000 cases, but we have ramped up vaccinations, ramped up treatments, ramped up testing, and we're going to continue to look at all sort of policy options.
Appointments for the monkeypox vaccine are available here at the Seven Hills Behavioral Health Center weekdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that vaccine is a 2-dose vaccine administered 28 days apart. Reporting in New Bedford, Yanni Trigelis, ABC6 News.
Hi, Yanni. Thank you for that. Elsewhere today, caught on camera, a Providence man facing charges for a tirade in the middle of a Newport street. Newport police say this video shows 51-year-old Richard Johnson throwing food at cars and spitting on an elderly woman in the car. Police say Johnson later spit at an officer who responded to the scene. Johnson is charged with simple assault, shoplifting, and 2 counts of disorderly conduct. Let's switch gears now and talk about the weather today, and the heat still around. A live look outside today on this lunch hour. Still muggy out there as well. You see a bit overcast as we reach the lunch hour. We did hit that heat wave officially, but now preparing for some potentially severe weather moving in. Good afternoon, Chelsea.
Hey, Casey. Yeah, more clouds around today, keeping our temperatures a little bit cooler than where they've been the last couple of days. We're looking at temps outside right now, mainly in the low to mid 80s range. In fact, about 10 degrees cooler right now than yesterday at this time. That being said, it is really humid outside as we head into the afternoon hours. We're waiting on an approaching cold front. Ahead of that front, we have that breeze picking up into the southwest, and our feel-like temperatures in many spots well into the 90s, if not upper 80s. So even though the temperatures are cooler, you factor in the humidity, and we're still dealing with heat advisory criteria for our inland spots especially. We also have a high surf advisory at the coastline. So if you're heading down to the coastline today, use extreme caution if you're getting in the water. This is all ahead of an approaching front, as I said. So far, we've just seen some clouds increasing across the area this morning. There's some lighter rain showers just off to our west, but a much wider view shows you that there's already been severe weather to our north, and we'll be tracking the risks of strong thunderstorms as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. It looks like the next few hours are relatively quiet, just warm and muggy, but we get into the later part of the afternoon and into the evening, and you'll see the risk of thunderstorms going up. I'll have much more on the concerns I have for the afternoon and what to expect the rest of the week in just a few minutes. Casey?
All right, Chelsea, thanks. We'll check back in. Now on to today's headlines. The suspect in the Fab City Cigar Lounge shooting in Pawtucket due in court today. Traquan Baker expected to appeal for a status conference. 29-year-old Baker charged with shooting and killing a man and injuring another at that lounge back in January. He pled not guilty at his arraignment. Also due in court today, the man facing multiple charges after an hours-long standoff in North Providence. Gino Rotundo facing charges including threats to public officials, possession of a firearm by a person convicted of a crime of violence, firing in a compact area, transmitting bomb threats, possession of silencers, and also obstructing an officer That standoff lasted nearly 17 hours, with Rotundo eventually surrendering to police. Today, the Rhode Island Commerce Corporation expected to vote on the future of the Tidewater Landing project. That project looks to bring a soccer stadium, restaurants, and housing to the city of Pawtucket. Earlier this year, city leaders and the developer were looking for millions more from the state, blaming those rising inflation costs. The governor has previously said the project needs to have strong taxpayer protections. The Block Island Town Council will meet today to discuss plans to improve liquor law compliance on the island. You'll remember last week, police released a report saying underage informants were served at 6 establishments on the island, included at Ballard's. The Town Council will also work on a plan to reduce open container violations on the island. Family and friends of a correctional officer who died from COVID-19 holding a memorial motorcycle event in honor of him today. 55-year-old Officer Richard Carchia died in December of 2021. He worked for the Department of Corrections for more than 2 decades. The Beyond the Call of Duty memorial ride went off at 8 o'clock this morning outside the maximum security facility in Cranston. The Central Falls Post Office has officially been renamed the Elizabeth Buffum Chase Post Office. She was a civil rights hero from right here in southern New England, born in Smithfield in 1806. She was an activist in the anti-slavery, women's rights, and prison reform movements. Governor Dan McKee and all of Rhode Island's congressional delegation were present for that ceremony this morning. Now to an ABC6 update. A restaurant in Tiverton facing criticism for a now deleted social media post on this heat wave. Alexis Heroic has the latest.
Here outside of the Atlantic Sports Bar and Restaurant in Tiverton on Shove Street after they received backlash for a since deleted social media post on Friday. An employee posted a meme referring to the heat wave with a picture of Anne Frank. Here is a screenshot of the meme. It says, "It's hotter than an oven out there and I should know it." ABC6 News spoke to a worker who said that the employee that posted the meme was unaware of the person in the picture, but quickly deleted it after realizing who it was. Anne Frank was a teenager who died in the Holocaust. Frank's book, The Diary of Anne Frank, became one of the most recognized stories in history. The Atlantic Sports Bar is closed today and the parking lot is empty. It is closed every Monday, but the post continues to circulate across social media.
Also today, we now know the name of the kayaker whose body was recovered Saturday at Lincoln Woods State Park. Officials identifying the man as 40-year-old Jason Robinson of Cranston. This was just after 3 o'clock Saturday. Witnesses reported that they saw a kayaker flip over into the water and not return to the surface. After a nearly 2-hour search, Robinson's body was recovered about 50 feet from the shore. No further information has been released. Still to come today at noon, an update on President Biden's condition today as he continues to recover from his COVID-19 diagnosis. Plus, the heat wave continues, much of the U.S. dealing with oppressive conditions and, in some cases, deadly. That while fire officials in California trying to fight a massive wildfire at Yosemite. We'll have the latest coming up. Welcome back. Checking in on some national stories today. President Biden's doctor says he continues to improve significantly despite a lingering sore throat from his coronavirus infection. Dr. Kevin O'Connor, Biden's physician, wrote in a letter released by the White House Sunday that the president is responding to therapy as expected and that his runny nose, cough, and body aches had all diminished considerably, they said. The president tested positive for the virus on Thursday morning. White House Coronavirus Response Coordinator Dr. Ashish Shah told ABC that the president has the highly contagious BA.5 variant that is spreading throughout the country. Rookie NFL player John Manchin III has been diagnosed with leukemia. Manchin, who is 22, was the 44th overall pick in this year's NFL draft. He signed with the Houston Texans. He announced his diagnosis Sunday, saying he's in good spirits, but that it's unlikely he'll be playing football this season. Still to come on ABC6 News at noon today, the record heat continues for millions of Americans. We'll get a check of our forecast here at home from Chelsea, plus a wildfire raging out of control at Yosemite National Park. And it won't be long. Soon it will be back to school. And what does that mean for your wallet as we deal with record inflation? We'll take a look just ahead. Welcome back. Now to the dangerous heat affecting millions across the country from Texas to Maine. Heat alerts in effect this weekend. A state of emergency near Yosemite National Park in California as a wildfire rages in the area there, consuming nearly 17 acres, threatening homes and forcing many to evacuate. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Fast-moving flames moving through Mariposa County, California. This relentless wildfire threatening 2,000 structures near Yosemite National Park. ABC's Alex Brachet is on the ground there.
Well, and I see these bulldozers behind us. It looks like they're clearing space.
This is the beginning of that fire break that they're starting to put in. So they're trying to remove that flammable material so when the fire backs up to it, that the fire goes out.
Governor Gavin Newsom declaring a state of emergency. About 3,800 people evacuated.
It was just coming too fast. It was getting bigger and bigger and closer and closer.
Fear along the evacuation route as smoke and haze filled the sky.
When I looked up, it was just pluming up over.
When they tell you to leave, leave. Stubbornness is the worst thing, and if it doesn't kill you, it's going to kill somebody else.
The Oak Fire being fueled by a lack of rain in California. Almost 60% of the state is in the second highest level of drought, and the fire itself in the highest level. This is the third wildfire to burn in Mariposa County over the last 2 weeks. And over the weekend across the country, more than 90 million Americans under heat advisories from Texas to Maine. In Boston, the mayor declaring a heat emergency still in effect today.
As I'm sitting here sweating, sweat's pouring down.
Newark, New Jersey is setting a new record, hitting 100 degrees 5 days in a row. The peak of the heat has now hit the Northeast, multiple cities seeing record high temperatures on Sunday. The region will soon be seeing a bit of relief along with much of the country over the next day or two. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Chelsea Priest.
And of course, that heat has been no stranger to us. We've had 6 days in a row of temperatures above 90 degrees, a 6-day heat wave at TF Green Airport. And our hottest of the days were Saturday and Sunday. In fact, we broke the record high yesterday. It was previously 94 degrees and we hit 98 at TF Green yesterday. Now today we're significantly cooler ahead of an approaching cold front. The concerns for today, it's still hot, it's still muggy out there, and ahead of that front we have a slight risk of severe weather. The main concerns would be tropical downpours, some gusty winds. There's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and those gusty winds could also cause some damage. There's also the small probability of hail and even a smaller probability of some rotation happening within these storms that come through into the afternoon and evening. Right now, we're warm, we're muggy outside, but we are actually much cooler than yesterday. Mid-80s for Providence, 82 in Smithfield, 70s in Newport. Block Island temperatures are in the upper 70s right now. The breeze coming in from the southwest, 10 to 20 miles per hour sustained, and some gusts coming in 20 to 30 miles per hour, and that's all ahead of the approaching cold front. As that front actually does cross through and those storms start to spark here in southern New England, gusty winds is going to be one of our higher concerns. What you're looking at is a really, really humid air in place. The dew points are way into the 70s, mid 70s right now for most of us. That is some sticky, uncomfortable air. And even though our temperatures are cooler than where they were yesterday, many of us still feel like temperatures well into the 90s as we're heading into the afternoon hours. There is still a heat advisory in place for today. It's a much different day with some clouds around, which helps a bit, but it is very sticky outside. Now, the good news is, of course, we have that line of thunderstorms coming through with the cold front. And there's concerns there. As soon as that line comes through, you see the dew points dropping significantly. By tomorrow at this time, we're going to be feeling so much more comfortable outside. That should continue into Wednesday. See that muggy factor going up a bit for later in the week, but we have a couple of days of relief heading our way after today. Now, what you're looking at now, some clouds that have been increasing, some lighter rain showers off to our west, nothing severe. No thunderstorms just yet, although we'll be continuing to track this line as it continues to feed in that moisture here in southern New England. And there is the possibility, as we head through the later part of the afternoon and into the early evening hours, that some stronger thunderstorms come through. Now, with these types of thunderstorms, it's not something everybody sees, but some of us could get some of those stronger thunderstorms. It looks like we have a round of those first showers coming through in the next couple of hours. And then shortly after your drive home, around your drive home, figure 5, 6, 7 o'clock, you can see some thunderstorm activity coming through. Heavy downpours, gusty winds, thunder, lightning, all a possibility. We clear out pretty quickly overnight. Tomorrow looks partly to mostly sunny. Temperatures still in the 80s, but feeling significantly more comfortable, and that should continue for Wednesday. Mid to upper 80s for highs today. It doesn't look like we'll hit 90 degrees. We'll get close. We certainly feel warmer than that. So it looks like today is our final, or yesterday was our final day of the heat wave. Still very warm, still very humid today with the risk of those thunderstorms. Not the best looking beach day, but I do want to mention if you are at the coastline trying to cool off at the water, our wave height's at 6 to 8 feet today. There's a high surf advisory in place. There's a moderate rip current risk. So use caution getting in the water. Pay attention to what the lifeguards are saying. Evening thunderstorms, we clear out by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow looks mainly sunny. Temperatures are still in the mid 80s range, but it is much, much more comfortable tomorrow. 7-day forecast shows temperatures in the mid to upper 80s for the rest of the week. Now, the average high for this time of year is about 84 degrees, so it's still an above average forecast, but it's not an entire 7-day of 90-degree temperatures, right?
It's a relief, yeah, it is.
Some relief there. You see, there's obviously the concern for thunderstorms this afternoon and into the evening hours. Jeff will obviously have a full update for you starting at 4 o'clock, but once that clears through tomorrow morning, it's going to feel nice.
I'm going to notice it. We're
yeah.
going to notice it.
Oh, yeah. You're going to notice
that's great.
it. Yeah, it'll be good.
Not much more of this left.
Not too much. I mean, it is summer. Can't rule out.
I know, but it's
still
just
July. This has been a long stretch.
It has been a long.
This
exactly.
has been a long
It's been
stretch without much relief. So hopefully we can get some rain and more comfortable air moving in.
We'll look forward to it, Chelsea. Thank you much. Appreciate it. Still to come today at noon. You've still got a chance to win the Mega Millions. What the jackpot is at now ahead of tomorrow's drawings. Welcome back. Shifting our focus now to consumer news. An early preview of what we could see here. Inflation sending prices for school supplies soaring in states that start earlier than Rhode Island and Massachusetts. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis has some ways to make it work.
With many schools starting in August, back-to-school shopping is right around the corner, and rising prices have many parents sweating over the prospect.
Our latest survey shows that families plan to spend over $860 on average, and many of them have noticed higher prices on everything from clothes to school supplies and even electronics.
With 3 boys ages 10, 12, and 14, Lindsay says shopping for back to school is especially tough.
Back to school shopping is pretty extensive. We have a lot of lists to cover and a lot of clothes to get because right now they're at an age where things fit for about a week.
With inflation hitting hard at both the pump and the grocery store, she feels even more pressure to find deals.
We feel the squeeze like everybody else. Everything seems to be going up, but really the back to school deals have been really good.
But the good news for parents like Lindsay is that Florida is one of the 17 states around the country that have tax-free holidays for school supplies starting today or in upcoming weeks.
This week is my Olympics. The savings really stack up. Definitely with the tax advantage and the stores stacking their sales on top of it, we'll definitely be finishing up our shopping by Friday.
And you still have a chance to become a mega millionaire. The jackpot at $790 million in the next drawing is tomorrow. A $1.5 billion Powerball jackpot is the world record that was back in January of 2016. Get those tickets. The drawing again coming up tomorrow night. Still to come today at noon. We're going to check back in with Chelsea. She's got another look at your afternoon forecast. Stay with us. Well, how about this? Boaters in Plymouth Sunday afternoon getting quite the surprise when a whale breached and landed on the bow of a small boat. The 19-foot boat almost flipped right over, too. The town harbor master said, thankfully, no one was hurt. There's been some whale sightings recently in recent days, yeah.
I've seen that video so many times. It's incredible. There's so many boats around. Everybody was in the water, it seems like.
I'd rather just see them from the shore and just like, wow, that's awesome. I'd rather not, not be that up close and personal. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Well, again, Casey, we have some thunderstorms coming through for the afternoon and evening hours. Be weather aware. Some of them could be strong. Jeff will be on at 4 with a full update for you. And then as soon as that line clears out, we're going to be so much more comfortable tomorrow. It's still a warm 7-day forecast, but we have a couple of days of relief from the humidity tomorrow and Wednesday.
A little bit of relief. We'll take it, Chelsea. Thank you for that. Thank you, folks, for watching today. The news continues first at 4. And For news and weather anytime, ABC6.com is always on. Have a great rest of your Monday.